Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host and producer, Courtney Baker. Appreciate you listening to another episode. And if this is your first episode of Storytime, welcome. Our guest today is for the 13-year-old Courtney. It features one of my favorite people who I have known and loved for so long, Matthew Mdot Finley. A lot of you may recognize him from Camp Rock or know him from Camp Rock. Unfortunately for everyone watching on YouTube, we are having technical difficulties and there's no video, just audio. But for everyone listening, whether it's Apple, Spotify, whatever it may be, you won't notice any changes. But I hope you all really love this episode. He is so amazing. It was great to catch up with him after all this time. I hope that y'all learned something, and I hope that you guys are a new fan of his. All right, y'all, we are back with Matthew Mdot Finley. How are you doing today, sir?
What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Hey, we are good. You said you just came back from golfing. How'd you do?
Well, it was a 9-hole 3-par, so I did better than Tiger, which he got a 10 on one of this last one. I think I got a par the first couple of holes and then bogeyed the rest, which means I was +1. So I did good. It was decent.
Way better than me. I have done Topgolf back in Scottsdale one time, and my swing, I can't, for being someone that cheered for 8 years, you'd think I'd be a little more coordinated, but like my swing stops halfway. So have you, I'm gonna need some pointers. Have you done Topgolf at all? Like, are you good at that too?
I did Topgolf in Ohio with my parents and one of my best friends, and I was terrible at Topgolf.
What?
I was so upset. Like my dad and my friend who plays baseball, they were like hitting all the shit, and I'm just like, damn. Like I was really upset. But no, I've been there before.
Were you drinking when you were doing Topgolf? Because I know that throws a lot of people off too. Like good golfers, but then at Topgolf, they're drinking the alcohol. They just can't do it.
My buddy brought his kids and his wife, so I was being more like Uncle Mdot. Because I'm an only child, I treat some of my besties like they're my brothers. So I was trying to be a good example, which has made me even more frustrated. Nothing to blame it on why I was doing the worst at Topgolf, the most experienced golfer. Frustrating.
Oh man. Well, I was going to ask you about this a little later, but you did go to, or you were going to go to college for golf, but then you ended up going to Berkeley. So was golf something that you did just growing up? And then what made you change your mind and kind of switch paths to Berkeley?
Definitely. I loved golf. I played golf. It was the DYGA, the Dayton Youth Golf Academy, that I started off with. And yeah, it was, my mom and dad always used to send me out, and I took lessons and I took golfing very serious. But when I went to do some of the college rounds to kind of meet different people, I was in Boston to go to Harvard. And I ended up going to visit BU and Berklee College of Music, and there were some other colleges out there, and I just fell in love with Berklee, which is, a performing arts school, jazz school out there. And it just kind of changed my mind. I was like, do I want to go to Harvard and play golf and probably just not really want to do that much schoolwork? And I guess I was intimidated by having to do the work of, like, if I'm going to major in architecture, if I'm going to major in whatever, versus going to major in contemporary writing and production at a performing arts school, where I got to sing and play saxophone and, express my talents that way. Of course, there were some regular curricular classes like English and stuff so that you can get your credits. But I think that was the change. Just like, do I want to go and play golf? And Tiger Woods is already locked and loaded, so I'm not going to be him, so. But, Chris Brown was already locked and loaded too. So I guess I thought I could be him. So I felt more confident in my music abilities than my golf.
Nice. And kind of just on the golf thing, I had to ask because, I'm from Scottsdale. Have you ever done the Waste Management Open before? Like, have you ever been as a fan?
I have not. I've heard of it, and Scottsdale. Don't they mention that in The Office?
Probably, honest. They mention it in like every show, just talking crap about Scottsdale.
Yeah, but no, I've never been. I've never been.
Oh, man. You're gonna have to go. Let me know. I know 2021 might be weird because of COVID. I know it's still happening,
Yeah,
but oh my gosh, I will fly home and like take you around in the open. It's
I
unlike
love it.
any other golf tournament. I always say my grandpa is a huge golf fan. Like he golfs all the time, always has it on TV. And I always say I think he would hate the tournament because it's like a huge frat party. There's hundreds and thousands of people that go. And then
Wow.
there's bars and clubs in Old Town Scottsdale. They literally do party buses
Oh
to
man,
this golf tournament. And it's insane, but I think you would enjoy
I'm betting
it.
COVID definitely will change the vibe.
Yeah. But
Like, does it?
2022,
Yeah,
you
does
have to
it?
go.
Right, 2022, 23. Does anything go back to normal? We hope so.
I
We
know,
hope so.
fingers crossed. All
Yeah.
right, so back to your music, because I feel like that's what most people obviously know you from. What age did you start singing, and was it kind of a hobby? And I know, obviously, going to Berkeley, it turns it into more of a career. But was there any thought in the back of your mind when you were a kid that it was something that you wanted to do as well?
Yeah, I mean, I started in church where most young black kids start from the Midwest. Um, my dad played bass, and I just kind of stood next to him playing the guitar. At first, the guitar, I don't think it was plugged in. I think it was just kind of like, oh, that's cute. But eventually, they gave me a plug, and I was able to plug in and start once again expressing my talents and watching people's reactions to what I was expressing, whether it be singing or playing the guitar or playing the piano. Um, Started at a young age, and then got more serious going into high school. I had like a manager in Washington, D.C. I was living in Ohio, so I would kind of go back and forth from Ohio to the DMV in New York. Um, I used to think New York was like the best place in the world until I grew up and realized there's California and there's Italy.
Mhm.
But and then yeah, I've done music since I was young, and it definitely turned into more of a career in college with Berkeley. You're correct. It was a lot of competition, and even people that were coming up in Berkeley, Kevin Ross, Major Johnson, T. was Savage, a lot of big producers, and they're now popping in the music industry and in the R&B world. T was big in the Caribbean world. She signed to Rock Nation. Major was on Star. He was on Empire. His song is like one of the top marriage songs of 2019. Watching those people come up as I was coming up, and then still having relationships with them, definitely made it more of a career. But it's fun. It's just like we do it because we love it. Yeah, we do it because we love it. I have a dog over here, my Doberman. So if there's any random noises or me
Oh,
sounding like I'm battling a lion, it's him wanting me to
you
pet
are
him.
good. I have two dogs. I have two labs, and they are in their crates right now. Roomy crates, I will say, so they're totally fine. But yeah, they are the same way. I cringe. I have to take their food bowls out of their crates when I'm recording because they love to wait until I start giving somebody else attention. And then they start eating their food, and it sounds like cows are eating, and my microphone picks up everything. But you are good.
Cows are eating. That's a good example.
Gosh, so loud. But yeah, you're totally fine. I get it, and I don't hear anything, so you're good. But I do want to talk to you also about kind of the state of the music industry right now, because I have family in LA that's in the music industry. My uncle is a sound engineer, normally is touring the world year round, only really home for Christmas. He hasn't gone anywhere since March. My aunt's kind of the same way. She was backup vocals, but also a vocal teacher. Now she hasn't really done anything. For you as an artist, I know you're still in the studio and all of that because I see it on your social media, but how has COVID really impacted you and the projects that you were working on and what you originally had planned for 2020?
I mean, it's been. I think I was kind of like one of the people who thought it wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and I'm still kind of like that. It's like, oh, it's okay, but it's definitely made huge impacts on everyone's morale. I've had a buddy who was a very talented writer for HBO, Tariq Jackson. who, who we lost him this year. He's a young guy. It's mentally taking a toll on people. It's financially taking a toll on people. Although I'm starting to see the upswing. The band that I work with, I do creative directing for a band called Circle the Earth. One of the members is in Korea right now. She had to do a 2-week quarantine just to perform for a week. And she has to do another 2-week quarantine, but it's starting to the upswing. People are starting to perform. People are starting to get out there and figure out ways to do drive-in performances. Danny Lay, another artist that I'm close with, just did a drive-in performance out here in LA. Just have people pull up in their car, you get the own audio, and you perform up there, and you're in your car. And I think there'll be ways for us to come together. I'm sure Live Nation and AEG, Golden Voice, are figuring out ways for big artists to continue to see their fans, whether it be virtually or in real life. But it has affected everybody. And but it's, you can't really knock it, because you get artists that are out there right now doing big in 2020. Jack Harlow, Megan Thee Stallion, Lil Baby, The Baby. There's still a lot of artists in all genres that are still killing it. Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber. If they wanna be heard and they wanna make music, they choose to use their resources to do so. So it's exciting to see people come together and be cautious, and figure out ways to stay creative throughout the quarantine.
Yeah, and I think the great thing is once things get a little more under control, like you said, we kind of, while the numbers are still high, there's at least the positive side that people are figuring out ways to still be able to perform and to do what they love to do, even during COVID times. And I think just based on everybody's social media and everything, once music is fully back and artists are able to be face-to-face with their fans, I think it's going to just be every show sold out. People are craving that. So there at least is that to look forward to. And I know I'm excited to keep up with you and everything. And I want to ask you about something, because I don't know if I was just too young for this or if I just was too busy watching Disney Channel when this was a thing. I saw you were on MTV's Becoming.
Hilarious.
It was in your childhood, right? Can you explain to me like what that show was?
Back to New York. Christina Milian, when R&B females were hot, she was like the host of this show called Becoming, and you could become B2K. You can become B2K is like an artist. You can become NSYNC. You can become the Backstreet Boys. You can become the Cheetah Girls, or 3LW is what people call them. So it was a show on MTV. Once again, back to New York. My mom was with me. It was like an open casting call, and that's how you did things back in the day. And I also got to meet Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini, Carson Daly back at this time, because we went to TRL. I know, it's like a blast from the past. And I ended up auditioning and getting booked for this show. They put me together with these 3 random guys. We were all from different places, but we got an opportunity to practice and rehearse, and we competed against 2 other teams to become B2K. So I was like Little Fizz from B2K. We had to do the choreography and work on like our videos, and it was fun. And I got to meet a bunch of cool people from MTV, and made a lot of cool connections there. And that was in New York when I was younger. Funny you bring that up. Such a weird time.
I brought it up because, I mean, I've known you, I think, for a couple of years now. I think we've kind of been in contact, but yeah. I was like, you know what? I don't really know anything about his like childhood going into the beginning of your career. And I thought there was something funny in it. And it was, you had told somebody that you met these girls in line, and like you ended up hitting it off with them and having them be your backup dancers, like later down the road or something. And so that made me laugh, and that's why I had to bring it up.
My mom was in that line with me on the open call, and when I got connected with those 3 guys, there were like some females there in line to try to be, they were casting for 3LW and B2K and NSYNC. So yeah, I met these 3 girls, and they ended up being my backup dancers when I would go to DC, because they lived there. of course, my mom was talking to her mom like, yeah, girl, let's talk, let's get our kids together, you know, and it was cool. And I think it's like I've always had that support from my parents, but also just from if you want to call it the universe or the guidance of the higher power. Just every little bit kind of propels you to want to keep going, because this industry is extremely competitive and difficult. But yeah, I mean, there was commercials I shot, there was getting booked from MTV, just every little thing kind of just continued to propel me to want to keep trying and shoot for the fences, and just try to just compete in this crazy world of entertainment.
Love it. Well, everybody, or I think most people would know you from Camp Rock 2. So
Yeah.
How did that happen? Because I know when I was growing up in like elementary and middle school, there would always be these commercials like, hey, if you want to be on Disney Channel, show up at this mall and audition. Was it kind of the same? I know obviously Camp Rock 2, I was older, but how did that happen for you?
That more live cattle call audition, that was more when I was younger. Back in Ohio, I was with the agency called Sharkey Agency, and we would travel to Florida and do acting competitions and talent competitions. And it was like the equivalent to beauty competitions for people with talent. You know, you have your mom there making sure your outfit was tight for this competition, for this division, and you're staying in a hotel and you're, you know, paying a bunch of money for headshots and doing the whole runaround just to meet Joe Schmo, right? But as I got older and after Berkeley, and one of the reasons why Berkeley was worth it, you know, was worth the X amount of thousands of dollars per year, wasn't because they taught me anything. It's because of the resources and the people that I met. So when I moved from Boston to LA, there was a lady who became my manager, and she was, you know, big in the movie industry. It's how I got on my first red carpet and just kind of met different people. And she ended up telling me about an opportunity for an audition. And they played my music for this guy named Steve Vincent, and he likes my music, and they want me to come in and read something. And yeah, and it was 10 auditions to get Camp Rock. It was a little bit different because they knew what was happening, what kind of role it was. And they weren't looking for somebody like me. They're Diego Boneta. I don't know if you know him from Scream Queens. He's had a couple of different movies. He was one of the finalists to get that role. And this other guy. So they weren't looking for anyone with my swag or who was going to bring it like me. And but they allowed me to do it. So it was a tedious, long acting, 4 auditions, 3 dancing auditions, 2 meeting auditions with, Gary Marsh, the head of acting, and Judy Taylor, the head of casting, and Rosero McCoy, the choreographer for Usher, and, all these people, and kind of realizing that I had an opportunity to do something big. And just every time I would go in the room, I just try to, give them all.
And Camp Rock 2, thanks to Disney Plus, is still around even for people that were too young when it first came out. I mean, nice. Your legacy still lives on. So for anybody that watches the movie, but maybe hasn't gotten a chance to interact with you at all, Luke is he has, I think, the world's biggest ego. Are there any similarities between you and Luke that you would tell people?
Absolutely not. I'm nothing like Luke Williams.
That's a good thing.
No, definitely, of course. I was able to hone in some of, the vicious parts of me when I'm in my most critical moments in being professional to Luke, because, to Luke, as he told Demi, or Sonny, what was her name? Mitch.
Yeah, Mitchie.
Mitchie, there it is. You know it better than me.
I watched it yesterday to refresh and get ready for this.
It was summer camp for her, so for Luke and for what he was representing, it was like he didn't have the opportunities or the things that he thought Mitchie and Shane had. But really, Mitchie and Shane worked just as hard as Luke, both in the movie and in real life. Kicking it with the Jonas Brothers, kicking it with Demi. Nick specifically, man, Nick is a hard worker. Before y'all were listening to his music and Jumanji, you know him. He's always been trying to get his solo project out, and he's just always inspired me because he always works hard. And Demi as well. She's, as much negative you can say about her, she's just a hard worker. She's never gonna stop. And That's what Luke was trying to represent. Is like, you guys think this is a joke. So yeah, there's some similarities between me and Luke, but I've grown up to the point that I don't want to be egotistical to the core like that. He was like right in front, being egotistical. But no, I want to. I'm glad I was able to represent, and people still hit me up and try to represent Camp Rock, and I'm like, nah, Camp Star, just to piss them off, But no.
Well, for everybody listening, I mean, you really are the complete opposite. Like, you are so nice, so humble. So I will just tell all the listeners right now, if you watch the movie, just know that he's not actually like that in real life.
I'm evil. I bring fire.
You're the most evil person ever. Like, I don't know why I'm having you on the show right now.
You see why they cast me.
But you did get to go on tour with this powerhouse of talent. Unfortunately, I was not able to go. I know y'all were in Phoenix, but I don't know what I was doing. I was in college, I think. But how cool was that, going on tour with that group of people? And what was your favorite stop on the tour?
It was crazy. It was like seeing behind the curtain. It's been a blessing and a curse. We had our own tour bus, like me, and then of course the brothers, and they we had our own jet. Every time we stopped at a hotel, we had our own rooms, like suites. So it was kind of a blessing and a curse, because going on tour, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, and talking to them on the way, and Mr. Jonas, and learning more about their career. The Jonas Brothers had to carry their own instruments on the Taylor Swift tour. They had to pack in their own gear. And that's the respect. Going on tour with people like that, I tried to learn as much as I could. Hang out with them, a lot of memories with every member of the cast. Chloe came on a couple of stops with us. Megan came on a couple of stops with us. But Roshan, I think, was shooting Shake It Off at the time. But yeah, Demi, myself, the Jonas Brothers, Allison Stoner. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. My favorite stop was Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Ooh, how long were you there for?
We were in South America for months. It was like a month and some change. But in South America is where things got a little sticky with Demi and one of the dancers, and when she kind of switched her whole shit up. But it was still dope. It was still a good time. Still a good tour. Her leaving allowed me and Allison Stoner to perform our own personal songs on the tour. So thank you, Demi.
That's awesome. And did you get to be tourists at all? Because I know, just having family in the industry, I know how crazy tours are and the schedule and all of that. But did you get to explore, or were you just strictly?
Yeah. We explored as much as we could. Disney did such a good job at / we're American, in South America specifically. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere without people following us and signing autographs and people trying to give you gifts. And we had our own security detail, but it was still like, it becomes uncomfortable when you're trying to like shop and you can't, But we would sneak out and go to the casinos, because South America's full of casinos. The food is awesome there. Of course, just the natural sights, the beach. I remember one time we made sure that we went to the Cristo, which was an amazing stop in Rio, to see the Christ Redeemer with the cast and with the people from the tour. They hooked that up for us. So yeah, there's a lot of time for us to still experience South America and experience all of the North Americas, because the first half of the tour we did all of North America. So yeah, getting to see little places in Idaho and little places in Texas is cool.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous. Is there somewhere that you haven't been on tour or just been on vacation yet that's on your bucket list, that if you ever were on tour again, whether it's solo or with a band or whatever it may be, that you would absolutely love to go to?
I'm going to pick the number 49 and number 50, Hawaii and Alaska.
Those are your two out of the whole world?
That's it. I've never been to Alaska. I think it would be cool. Mount up on a sleigh of huskies and Hawaii. Just, that's everyone's place to go. I guess if it was out of the country, I would choose like an Asia. Never been to Asia. Anywhere
Okay.
over there. I mean, not anywhere, but
There you
Asia.
go. Well, a guest that I just recorded with a little bit earlier, she is a professional. I guess she was known for, when she was growing up, a tumbler, cheerleader, gymnast, all of that. But she actually speaks Mandarin. So I'll connect you if you ever go.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
She can help you out.
Be awesome.
But also Camp Rock just seems to always come back, like I said, especially with Disney Plus. So you created a little social media challenge, and it picked up some steam. So what made you want to start the Fire Challenge?
It literally was, everyone, and like you said, to this day, it's awesome how many people randomly DM me like, oh, I didn't know this was you, and then they just send me a video of them like singing the song or dancing, or like today I got one. I get one literally like once in the morning and once at night. I can expect a random fan to find me on Instagram. So I was just like, look, if I had as many followers as people asked me to do this dance, I was like, can you still do it? So I just thought I'd pull my couch to the side and just do it. And that was it. Just to make sure my body could still move that way. Only thing I didn't do was the backflip, but everything else is still good to go.
I know, I was a little bummed that the backflip wasn't in there. Though I tried to do the challenge, and I don't think my body can flip anymore, so I kind of appreciate that you did not do that.
I didn't add that in the challenge. I did not.
Well, it is fun.
It's cool. I just did it just for me, just to, of course, for everybody to kind of re-engage with the movement. I tagged the choreographer, Rosero. I mentioned him earlier. And Chuck Maldonado, the people who we worked with for the movie. And it was just a way to just kind of reconnect and just get it done. I love that. I love that performance. It was a really fun performance.
Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite song in the movie, and it did bring back all those memories when you posted that video. But then post Camp Rock, you had a few solo projects come out, and I think, can you see my video right now or no?
I can see your video.
Okay, so I want to show you. I actually have you on my phone from 2010 is when I bought it, I guess, because that's when it says it came out.
Wow.
And it's always just been on my iTunes.
That song.
How excited! I actually smile when it comes on my shuffle because I have thousands of songs, and Priority tends to come up all the time for some reason. But how exciting was it for you to have all that Camp Rock energy going and then go into your solo career?
It was, once again, it was both a blessing and a curse. I remember being in Texas. There's a link of me falling off stage in Texas. I hate how hot it is in Texas. I was just so flustered that day. The frustration of the day was that I was on this tour in Texas. The movie, I don't know if it came out yet. Pharaoh, sit down. And I knew I was about to go out there and perform in front of X amount of, thousands of people. Mm-hmm. And I had singles that I was trying to release, and there was no action. Even, it's something that I've grown to just accept and deal with for the time being, but it was frustrating actually being on tour and having people support something that had such a great machine behind it, knowing that there were things that I was passionate about that wouldn't get the same response. Priority was dope because I remember recording that back here in LA. I was working with this producer friend, Catalyst DB from Berkeley. Everything that I put out personally is just for my own sanity, That's kind of what it became. Hollywood Records, and I were in business, and Disney and I were in business, but the frustration of, knowing how many people sing fire, no fire, and tear it down and walking in my shoes is awesome. It's great. But only people like you, which I really appreciate. There are fans that reach out and show me the love and talk about Priority, talk about Miss Valentine, talk about A Million, talk about the songs that I've released that mean a lot to me. So it's dope. If anything, it just make sure that you keep things like that close to you, because when I become what I will become, it'll be more special and it'll mean more. It'll be that vintage vinyl shit that nobody else knows about.
Yeah, I mean, you have my support for the rest of your career and on, but you kind of stopped at this Texas story. So when did you fall off the stage, and how did you recover?
I was in the tour bus. I remember I was like about to press upload to upload it on, iTunes and stuff. I think it was this song called Nice to Meet You, which I've taken down since then. And
I had that song on my phone too. I don't know why it's not there anymore.
Because I got removed from. There's been many of managers and legal things that come along with it. It's not just making music and putting it up on iTunes if you want to do it at a certain capacity. And I remember thinking about that in Texas, and I was so flustered. I was performing Fire, and I fell off stage. I got back up, but my buddies that I'm still keeping contact with that dance with me, they tease me about it all the time. I was in my own head. I was just like, frustrated that I wanted more. I wanted to do more, and a lot of people, and I would tell artists and people that have success to live in that moment, as cliche as it sounds. Enjoy where you are, and because it's always going to be a different blessing, and it's going to come in a different way. But another cliche is, you never know that you're in the good times until you're out of them, until they're over. Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting time. It was an interesting time. Texas, I hate Texas because it was hot, and I fell off stage. So.
Well, at least the Phoenix show, I think y'all were in the arena, right? So you didn't have to perform outside, or were you at the outdoor one?
I remember it might have even rained. No, that was the one here in Cali. Listen, I could show you the tour book. That particular tour, so many stops, so many arenas.
I'm just saying, if you were outside in Arizona, I think you would have remembered it and probably never wanted to come back.
Hilarious. So yeah, we must have been inside then. We must have been on the indoor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because people are, the summer is the time for everyone to go on tour. It's when people aren't in school and all of that. And so there's this outdoor arena that everybody loves doing shows at. The Jonas Brothers, I went to one of theirs years, I think middle school. And people were fainting in the meet and greet line. It was crazy. So
those were the good old days.
Yeah, if somebody ever asks you to perform outdoors in 120 degree heat, just take my advice and move it indoors.
Big no.
All right, well, I feel like I'm using up a lot of your time, but I know you said you're working with a group right now. But is there anything else that you want to plug, promote, and then where can people follow you on social media as well?
Definitely. You can follow me on Instagram at the number 4 Finley. That's 4 Finley. I have a project on iTunes now called Him First. It's available. I'm thinking about releasing this other project. It's a short film, but I think I'm just going to release the music. It's called Trap Gospel. I've got this other EP I'm working on called Songs About Money, which is just 5 songs about money, but they're really cool. They're cool, upbeat, fresh songs. Let me see if I can play one for right now. The thing, I don't know if I play for you, you'll be able to hear it though. I'll email it to you.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you can throw it in there. But yeah, I'm always working on something. A lot of auditions through my agents and managers right now. So definitely look out for something on your TV screens soon. Keep me in your thoughts. Keep the support up. Hit me up on Instagram. Twitter is for Mdot. I don't check it. I'm not on Facebook. You're not talking to me. I don't do Snapchat. And I'm on TikTok, but not really. So, if you want me, holla at me. Holla at my Gmail.
What do you mean you're on TikTok but not really? Like, is
I
it more like a
activated
hidden
it.
thing? Like you have to know
No,
how to find you?
there's no post. I don't look at it. It's just, it doesn't appeal to me yet. I'm sure it will, but even reels on Instagram, I sound old, y'all. I'm sorry. It just doesn't appeal to me. For me to actually do a reel, I'll just post a story, right? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm the same way. I know like Twitter with fleets now, it's like the new reel. I haven't done a reel. One of my guests a couple weeks ago, he dared me to do a TikTok video. So I like did one this weekend, had the worst anxiety, but I was like, you know what? I haven't actually taught myself choreography in like a decade. I'm gonna watch
there you
this
go.
video 3 times, do one take, post
Yep.
it, not share it anywhere. I like sent him the link to it. I was like, there you go. But I'm
And then
hoping
he reposted it and it's viral.
it keeps getting likes, like not that many, not viral at all, but like I'm like, how are these people finding my random video? But I hope nobody down the road finds it and it ends up on there. But
I'm gonna do my best to find that and blast it out, call it the Fire Challenge 2.0.
people will be like, who is this girl dancing? She is terrible.
That's
But
funny.
even when I did Fire Challenge, I was with my mom at my parents' house because I flew to surprise my mom for her birthday. And I was like, Mom, this is giving me so much anxiety posting this because I had done like the spray tan and like it was 110 degrees out and I'm wearing a hoodie and I like could not get in the mindset for this. But I was like, I told him I'd post it. And then when you shared it, I was like, oh God, people are going to be watching this now. I was looking at my viewers to see like who I was friends with that was looking at it, and I'm like, all right, just don't bring this up to anyone anymore.
That's funny. That's funny. No, I appreciate the love and yeah, man. You know, it's awesome to be able to reach out to you and you know, I appreciate the opportunity. This is awesome, especially with everything going on with us being separated and not being able to really reach out to a lot of people. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.